most.
But first,
if we have a good day today, this fire will start winding down in the next 2 or 3 days.
firefighters say today is the key to stopping the mile marker 14 fire. Hear why crews are saying it could still get a lot worse.
This is KBOI 2 News, first at 4.
All right, at this moment, crews are slowly getting a handle on the mile marker 14 fire, which has scorched more than 4,300 acres in the Boise foothills.
And today, firefighters are braving through scorching temperatures to put out that blaze.
We have team coverage tonight. Roland Stedham has our fire forecast, and Morgan Wagner takes a look at how the fire may affect wildlife.
But first, let's go to Scott Logan, who tells us that today is very critical in the firefighting effort.
Well, if you look over my shoulder at the ridge line behind me, you can see the red stain of retardant that was used to keep the fire from coming over that ridge. Now fire managers are confident they've got the upper hand on the mile marker 14 blaze. A lot depends on the winds and the temperatures, but today is shaping up to be pivotal. With dozers and engines unable to get into the steep terrain, it's the individual hand crews that are taking the fight to the flames. What's the hardest thing physically about fighting this fire right now?
This fire today? I would say absolutely the heat. I think your meteorologist at Channel 2 is going to say the heat's somewhere around the hundreds today, and there's not a whole lot of shade up there, and there's a big steep hills to climb.
And there's vital air support as well in the battle against the mile marker 14 fire.
We have 7 different helicopters that are flying bucket missions on this. We put a bunch of retardant on it in the last 2 days.
The combination seems to be working. Crews stopped the fire at the edge of a timber ridge 2 miles south of Roby Creek. The mission now is to hold the fire there.
If we have a good day today, this fire will start winding down in the next 2 or 3 days, and it won't grow anymore.
We were shown the most dangerous section of the fire on a map.
So you got Lucky Peak, the actual Lucky Peak is up here, and then High Bridge is down here, and so this area right through here, that's your northernmost part that you have to worry about.
Meantime, with this heat, fire crews also have to worry about staying well hydrated.
Yesterday we drank somewhere around 40 gallons of water as a 20-person hand crew.
Okay, so what if they don't have a good day? What if the fire does get into that timber? Well, fire managers say then it would be back to the drawing board, but they have contingency plans, and they also have that fleet of air tankers and helicopters that's on standby to help out. Live in Boise, Scott Logan, KBOI 2 News.
The scarred land is also a vital resource for wildlife in the wintertime.
Morgan Wagner explains the rehab efforts that will take place as soon as the fire is out. She continues our team coverage now.
Thousands of elk and deer migrate to the Treasure Valley every winter, Britt and Natalie, and in order to find food to sustain them through those cold days. But with a third of their vegetation up in flames, Fish and Game says they will be scrambling to get that area restored.
This is the outer border of the wildlife management area around here. This gray piece over here is the Table Rock fire, and this is a rough outline of the current mile 14 fire.
With 2 large fires consuming nearly a third of the Treasure Valley's wildlife management area, Mike Keckler with Fish and Game says the department is worried there won't be enough plants to feed on when the several thousands of deer, elk, and antelope migrate here this winter.
It's pretty much the last available winter habitat that they have in the Treasure Valley, so it's critical.
Fish and Game crews are already working with their partners to come up with a rehab plan for Table Rock, but Keckler says if they plan to salvage the area of the mile marker 14 fire, crews will have to get planting immediately.
We want to get in there and make sure that we get sagebrush planted, that we get bitterbrush planted, the type of plants that these animals rely on in the wintertime. And we also have to make sure that the soil is stabilized, so it's going to be a big process.
Fish and Game at this point does not have a cost estimate on how much the rehab will take. However, just looking at how far the damage is spread, he says it won't come at a cheap cost, and they will need help from federally funded programs. Live in Boise, Morgan Wagner, KBOI 2 News.
And now from the mile marker 14 fire that you're seeing to the Highway 21 fire that's called the Pioneer Fire. Perhaps you've seen the smoke just this afternoon. The reason why this one is growing. The U.S. Forest Service says the Pioneer Fire has grown up to 620 acres. It's burning near Idaho City, but here's something. It's spreading away from the community. No structures are threatened. 300 firefighters are on the ground battling that fire.
And we just can't say it enough what an impact the heat is having on those firefighters as they're trying to work. You got the heat of the fire, you got the heat of the sun.
And temperatures are supposed to climb to 100 degrees today. Let's check in with Roland to see where we are and what we can expect through tomorrow.
The hottest temperatures of the week are occurring right now, and it could get even hotter by another 2 or possibly 3 degrees. So we're currently at 99 degrees and we're still insulating the sun's energy. So that means the temperatures are going to be getting warmer than that. Winds right now very light out of the north at about 6 miles per hour. But look at the humidity levels down to 12%. That is also some of the lowest humidity that we have seen all week. And as the temperature goes to or just above 100 degrees, that humidity level is probably going to be dropping down to about 9 or 10%. Crystal clear skies, very dry conditions all across Idaho. But what we have, folks, that's coming in right now, this is a dry cold front that's on the way. This is the saving grace, and if they can hang out through the day today, this is what impacts our weather tomorrow. Temperature readings are going to be dropping, but red flag warnings are in effect out here for the areas to the east of us, for the mountain ranges up and around Sun Valley and up towards the Sawtooths. No red flag warnings in effect for our local mountains, but you know how dry conditions are. Temperatures tonight will stay in the upper 90s. Tomorrow we drop down to 63, and the high temperature tomorrow is going to be 90 degrees, about 10 or 12 degrees cooler. Brent?
Stick with Channel 2 for continuing coverage of this year's fire season. We'll have the latest at the bottom of the hour. Also, watch KBOI 2 News at 5:30, 9, and 10. In between newscasts, head over to our website, KBOI2.com, and follow us on social media, as well as the KBOI2 mobile app.